Before we jump into interactive AI lessons, let's talk a little bit about prompt engineering. What is prompt engineering? Well, it's really a way to craft queries and prompts in a way that your AI tool will understand your intent and then produce and provide you the most accurate, relevant, and useful responses. Let's look at 7 tips you could use to be very effective in prompt engineering. And before we look at those tips, let me tell you, as a CS educator or somebody with coding experience, you've already developed many of these skills. To be a good coder, you have to be specific and precise, detailed, be comfortable working in iterative processes. It's very similar in prompt engineering. So let's look at these tips. Number 1, be very specific. The more context and details you provide, the better responses you'll receive. Here's an overly simplistic example, maybe, where there's a general prompt, tell me about dogs. That prompt is obviously too broad. A specific prompt could be about a specific breed or an area that you want to learn about relative to dogs, like obedience or agility training. In addition to being specific, you want to be clear. By being clear and concise, you help ensure the AI tool understands exactly what you're looking for, and you will in turn get a more relevant and accurate response. If we look at the 2 prompts on the right, we can see the top prompt is very ambiguous. It's verbose, somewhat indirect, includes multiple requests, which can make it harder for the AI tool to identify the main question in relevant details. Compare it with the clear, crisp, concise prompt below. Also, we need to be detailed. If you would like your response provided in a specific format, detail that to the AI tool. Mention that in your prompt. 2 examples on the right. The first one is a prompt without format specification. Just saying, tell me about key features of Python. The second one asks for it in a list or a bullet style. Without specifying a format, the AI tool might provide a narrative or paragraph form response that lists or describes features without any organization. If you specify the desired format, that helps ensure the response is structured in a way that meets your specific needs or is in a way that makes it easy for students in your classroom to understand. Another important tip is to use keywords. By including specific keywords, in this example, like responsive web design, CSS, media queries, fluid grid layouts, the prompt clearly communicates the technical aspects and specific area of web development you're interested in. Compare that to the top prompt, which just says, tell me about making a website. The AI tool can provide a focused explanation with the bottom prompt. This is particularly important when you're talking about programming. It's one of the few instances where using jargon is helpful. Using words like modulus, ternary, tracing, all help the AI tool in guiding you to a successful response. The 5th area for prompt engineering is iterative prompting. We all know as coders that we spend a lot of time in decomposition, taking a complex problem, breaking it into smaller parts, and sequencing or ordering those parts. That's kind of like iterative prompting. You're looking at a complex topic and you're breaking it down into smaller sequential pieces or prompts. So this is a great example. Tell me everything about Leonardo da Vinci. That would obviously yield a very detailed and verbose response from the AI tool. But iterative prompting may get you the information you want in a more structured format. Who was Leonardo da Vinci and what is he best known for? Can you describe his most significant contributions? List notable scientific and engineering achievements. And maybe the 4th prompt would be focusing on one of those achievements. So very similar to structuring a program into discrete functions or subroutines. The 6th tip for effective prompt engineering is to provide examples. If you're looking for a particular type of response, providing an example or reference for the AI tool can be very helpful. Here's a general scientific example. Explain Newton's second law of motion. Newton has 3 laws of motion. The second one is basically force equals mass times acceleration. But maybe you want it in context of what your students are doing. And so in this case, it's give me a relatable example of maybe how it applies to a soccer ball being kicked or a car accelerating to make it clear for high school students. So providing examples or a framework for examples is a great way to get needed responses. The 7th and last tip is feedback looping. Use the first response you receive as an initial answer and ask follow-up questions just like you would do in a conversation. The example here, which is what is the main theme of Macbeth, may provide some detail that you're interested in, but you may have a follow-up question. Maybe the initial answer was overly broad, and so you could ask, can you elaborate on a specific point on Macbeth's ambition and the consequences of Macbeth's ambition? This is similar to iteration, but different. Iteration, the prompt engineering technique we talked about a few minutes ago, is really about sequencing and structuring. This is about refinement, just as you do in conversations with people to narrow in on the information you're interested in. Now you have it. You should be ready to go. But before you take off, experiment with different styles. Leverage advanced features that your AI tool has. Pay attention and stay updated. Staying informed about new features and best practices for interacting with your particular chatbot can improve your results. And then recognize the limitations of the AI tool you're interacting with. Understanding what it cannot and can do will help you craft prompts that are more likely to yield useful responses. So now you're ready. Let's jump into some lessons and look at AI in action, both in the CodeHS platform and outside the platform.